Hello everyone, Rookie Moxon here, and welcome to the Week 4 team preview for the not-so-casual Pokemon Draft League. Going off of a pretty sad loss last week, we're going to try and do our best to really bounce back this week and make sure that we do pull out that W. Don't want to be losing too much, got to make sure that we're staying positive and staying strong. So, this week's battle prep, I made sure to really try and go over all of the options just so that something like that with the Scarfrachi does not happen again. We do not want that to happen again. So, I forgot to get the screenshots for what we are fighting, so we are going to kind of ghetto this out a little bit. Hold on. I knew I was forgetting something whenever I hit record, but, we're just gonna kind of scuff this. So, is it this one? Yes. Okay. So, we are going to be fighting Clay here with the Golurk Gladiators, and we will be fighting, let me move my webcam over. Oh, come on. There we go. We're going to be fighting Mega Scizor, Garchomp, Ogerpon Cornerstone, so the rock one, Primarina, Arcanine, Moltres Galar, with the Terra types of Flying, Poison, and Ground, Mimikyu, Kilowattrel, Tentacruel, and Hariyama with the Terra types of Fighting, Steel, and Water. Now, I was a little bit worried kind of going into this, as I was gotta really try and build around, make sure that I'm doing the best that I can for this. But I have kind of done a little bit of thinking, done a little bit of calculating and everything, making sure that we're running the best possible team that we can this week. So, without further ado, let us introduce the first member of the team. The first member of the team is, of course, going to be Dracopult. Here every single week, and we gotta make sure that we are playing him better. Last week was an unfortunate week where he really did not get to do too much. He almost got flinched into oblivion and really could not make use of those choice specs. So, for this week, however, I am deciding to run the Eject Pack. Now, what the Eject Pack does is whenever my stats are lowered, I swap out, which is perfect for Dracopult here, who's going to drop a Draco Meteor, switch out to something better, and we'll go from there. Flamethrower for the Mega Scizor, Will-O-Wisp, just so I can maybe spread around some burns, maybe be able to get some stuff going on there, and then U-turn just in case I don't want to drop the Draco, drop a Flamethrower. Be able to pivot around, make sure that things are going pretty well. Hopefully Dracopult here does do better than last week. He is my first pick, and so I want to make sure that Dracopult is being good. He had an unfortunate last week, but he's been doing pretty okay so far, doing what he needs to do. So Dracopult here, we'll see just how well he does. We have the EV spread there. A good amount of bulk because we don't need too much speed. We outspeed everything with just 120 timid, and then the rest in the special attack doing as much damage as possible. So we will see just how well this goes. Next up on our list is Hey, Jolteon, get over here. Next up on the list is Jolteon. Discharge, Alluring Voice, Volt Switch, Terra Blast with the Terra Ice. Being able to just really pivot around, do out really good damage. Terra Ice hits so much on his team super effectively, and able to just do some pretty good stuff. From what I have noticed in his previous battles, he has not run a Scarf Garchomp, but we are prepared for that just in case he decides to do that, but he has always run offensive Garchomp. So, no problem too much there. Especially because we are running Modest Jolteon. The only thing that we do not outspeed with Modest Jolteon will be Kilowattrel if he decides to bring it. If he does, that's going to be unfortunate because it does have the Volt Absorb. And so, being able to blank the electric moves, but still take super effective from the Terra Ice Terra Blast. So, if he does have the Kilowatt, we're just going to have to be a little bit safe around that, but I will be able to just, you know, not have to worry too much about something outspeeding except for that Kilowatt. So Jolteon here just going to be able to pivot around, do some pretty good damage, and we'll hopefully be able to see just what the Jolteon can do. Unfortunate that, like, you know, I have not run, I've only been running Dracopult Jolteon in every game, but we will see. Maybe eventually we'll see some other of the members and the other Terra Captain. Next up on the team is going to be Smeargle. Running a fairly standard set with Web, Spore, Endeavor, and Destiny Bond. Nothing too out of the ordinary. He does not have too much hazard removal on his team. The big ones are going to be the Scizor though, but like with Web being up, you know, I can be able to get so much more out of the team. If I can just, you know, get those outspeeds going and get a ton of damage out. If he has to spend the time defogging, that's going to put a lot of momentum taken away from him, and so that might be able to open up the opportunity for a big sweep coming from one of our other members who can deal out a lot of damage. So Smeargle here, setting the webs, throwing something to sleep, and maybe taking something down with Destiny Bond. We'll see just how it goes. And we'll see just if, you know, we can keep playing the Smeargle pretty well. So far, the Smeargle showing has been pretty great. And so let's keep hoping that it does get even better. Our next member in our soul wall of the game is going to be Corviknight. Body Press, U-Turn, Defog, Roost. Corviknight here can really just come in and try and sit on the Ogre Pawn Cornerstone. Taking the neutral from the Ivy Cudgel because of it being a rock move, but really able to take just about any other damage that it decides to throw at us. If it wants to try and U-turn out of there after the Ivy Cudgel, it would take Rocky Helmet Chip, being able to heal up with the Roost. Can also sit on the Scizor as well as the Garchomp. Corviknight here can sit on so many different Pokemon with that physically defensiveness, throw out Body Presses, throw out Roosts, defog away any hazards that could be a problem if he sets them up. And then like try and maybe re-get up hazards with Smeargle with the Destiny Bond. But Corviknight here gonna hopefully be super important. It would have been super important last week against that Rachi. So I'm making sure that I try not to make the same mistake again and make sure that I do have my backbone, my big physical wall here. Corviknight here is gonna hopefully be incredibly important, trying to just take down, take the hits from the Ogre Pawn, the Garchomp, and the Scizor. Because those are the big three that I'm scared of. Our second to last member is Meloetta here, running a Calm Mind sweeping set of Hyper Voice, Thunderbolt, and Psychic. Being able to really try and get in that sweeping capability with the web up. Nothing on his team can really outspeed Meloetta, and nothing on his team really wants to take a Meloetta attack. So Meloetta here, pretty useful. It's going to be one of our two main cleaners. We're going to hopefully see like just how well we can pivot around and make sure that things go well. Meloetta here, very important, huge type coverage. Also want to make sure that the Galarian Moltres, if he does bring it, has already Terra'd, because then he has no switch-ins for the Psychic. That Psychic is going to do out so good damage before the Terra. If he brings Mimikyu, then we cannot just mindlessly press Hyper Voice, but we can just kind of like press Thunderbolt, and we'll just kind of see if we can go from there. But with Calm Mind leftovers, full sweeping capabilities, especially with the web up, we're going to hopefully see some very, very powerful action from Meloetta here this week. Hopefully, anyway. And then our last mon and our main sweeper. Coming back from week 2, we got Urshifu Rapid Strikes. Punching Glove instead of Protective Pads this time, because Punching Gloves does the exact same thing, only makes Surging Strikes and Ice Punch do a little bit more damage. So, if we had that week 2, that would have been a little bit even more sealed into the victory, but I learned that this item was a thing last week, so oops. But Surging Strikes, Ice Punch, Trailblaze, Sword Stance, standard, kind of like trying to make sure that, like, you know, we get up the Trailblaze, get up the Sword Stance. Ice Punch for the Garchomp, Surging Strikes for basically everything else. And then the Trailblaze for speed. Urshifu here will hopefully, you know, do what it did in week 2, clean up after a Trailblaze, and get in so much of that damage. The Punching Glove, like, I would probably want to go a different item, but if, because of, just in case he decides to run, Rocky Helmet, Rough Skin Garchomp, we don't take our entire health pool of damage, in one Surging Strikes. So I don't want that. Punching Glove will make sure that that does not happen. And so we will see just what happens, but that is the full team rundown. Tomorrow the game will be up. At the time of recording this, tomorrow the game will be happening. But yeah, so tomorrow at the time of this upload, the game will be uploaded, and I hope that you all enjoy it. I hope that we pull out the W. I hope that we can make sure that we are 3-1. Right now, we are tied for second in our pool for playoffs. So that is really good. We're doing pretty well. I went into this just wanting to win. I didn't want to go out with 0 wins, and right now we're 2-1. Could have been 3-1 last week, but I mean, you know, it happens, but we'll do our best this week, and we'll hopefully come out of here 3-1. So, I hope that you all I hope that you all enjoy the battle tomorrow. I hope that you all have a fantastic rest of your day, and I hope to see you all tomorrow. Have yourselves a good one.